Joe Biden still is not receiving intelligence briefings, and the State Department is refusing to hand over various messages that Biden has received from foreign leaders who want to congratulate him on his win. Now, the reason why this is happening is because Donald Trump has refused to concede. And as a result, it is holding Biden back from being able to begin the transition process. And of course, these intel briefings are important. So as a result, you do have some senators who are saying, Trump is totally right in challenging the results of the election. But Biden should probably get these intel briefings. One of the people who made that argument was Senator James Lankford from Oklahoma. He made this argument during a recent radio interview. Let's take a look.
I got to tell you, national security is a concern because Mr. Biden is not getting the briefings that a president-elect would normally be getting at this stage in the process.
Yeah, and that should be resolved by Friday. GSA has to certify that election to start turning it around. The first day they can do that on the calendar is Friday. And when that occurs, they should actually step in. And I would tell you, I'm on a committee of oversight. I've already started engaging in this area. My first question was in 2000, what occurred in 2000 during that whole challenge? And what happened was President Clinton made available to, at that time, George Bush, the governor at that point, still in the process of running, the availability to start getting the briefings and to do that. There's nothing wrong with Vice President Biden getting the briefings to be able to prepare himself and so that he can be ready. The president's already getting those. There's nothing wrong with the former vice president getting those. Kamala Harris is on the Intelligence Committee. She has all the clearances that she needs to be able to do that. There is no loss from him getting the briefings and to be able to do that. And if that's not occurring by Friday, I will step in as well and to be able to push and to say this needs to occur so that regardless of the outcome of the election, whichever way that it goes, people can be ready for that actual task.
So this is basically Republican senators trying to have their cake and eat it too. On one hand, they try to appease the president by pretending as though he has legitimate concerns about widespread election fraud, even though the Trump campaign has lost every single court battle on this very issue because they failed to provide any evidence of it. But at the same time, you have a few senators, including Lankford, who are saying, yeah, maybe these intel briefings need to happen with Joe Biden. And there are a few others. Lankford joins a handful of Republican senators who have said the Democrat ought to be allowed to at least partially move forward with the transition, including Senators Pat Toomey, Susan Collins, Mike Rounds, Marco Rubio, and just today, Chuck Grassley joined that list. But I think it's important for people to visualize how pathetic this is. So let's look at this fun graphic that shows you the number of GOP senators who have not acknowledged what the reality is versus the number of GOP senators who have acknowledged the reality of the election.
Yeah, those four are the ones that said, yes, Biden has actually won the election. The rest, including Lankford and Grassley and them, say, well, I mean, maybe they should get the briefings, et cetera. But all these folks are still in the camp of nope. Even though Trump has presented absolutely no evidence in dozens of court cases about voter fraud, we are all going to pretend that he is not lying. We're all going to try to steal this election. We're all against democracy. All of the people that you're seeing there hate America, and they are right now 100% in favor of Donald Trump declaring himself the winner. They're all on that side, except for the ones with the check marks who have acknowledged, yes, this is in fact the results of the election. Rubio says maybe soon Biden should get intelligence briefings, but no, I still think Donald Trump is not wrong. Donald Trump right now tweeting like a raving lunatic that he won the election. He says, I got 72 million votes. Yes, but Joe Biden got 77 million votes. That's a fairly relevant fact that you left out, and you lost the Electoral College by a lot. And all of these enablers are saying, oh, you want to kill democracy and totally lie about it. Great, we're on board. And they say, well, a couple of weeks from now, we might get tired of trying to steal democracy when it looks like it's not going to work. But for the moment being, if there's still a 1% chance that we could end America, we would love to do that. I think there's a word for that in the English language when you actually go against your own country and try to kill it from within. I think you know what that word is.
You know, the same is true of Republican governors. Only a handful of them have acknowledged the reality of the election and its outcome. So let's take a look at that. As you can see, the majority of Republican governors refuse to acknowledge the outcome of the election, whereas about 5 of them have come out to acknowledge that Trump has lost. Only 5, and that includes Charlie Baker and also Governor-elect Spencer Cox of Utah, Mike DeWine of Ohio, Larry Hogan, and Phil Scott of Vermont. Those are the only ones who have come out to acknowledge that Trump lost the election.
So what's driving me crazy about the press and the Democratic Party is we know with great certainty. It's all over the internet. You could check and read the actual transcripts of the court cases yourself. Trump's lawyers don't want to be disbarred, so they're not allowed to lie in open court. Otherwise, their career is done. So the judges will ask them, okay, this is the moment in the case when you present evidence of fraud. And they say, we don't have any. And the judge says, wait, are you saying you don't have any evidence of fraud? And the lawyer says, yes. Why are you here? Because Trump sent them just so he could say he's in court. Oh, you wouldn't believe the fraud. You wouldn't believe the fraud. Yet you're right, I wouldn't believe it because you sent your lawyers and they admitted all over the country in every case that they have 0 evidence of fraud. So now, press and Democrats, do you want to call the Republicans what they are? All of those Republicans know that for a fact, not the voters. The voters are rubes. They're like, oh, I think he won. They don't know, okay? So in a weird kind of way, I guess I'll let the Republican voters, I think they're less culpable than these Republican politicians who know for a fact that Donald Trump is lying, that Donald Trump is trying to steal the election, and that Donald Trump would end democracy today if he could. And they're saying, well, if we keep power, I would love it if you ended democracy. That's what every one of those Republican senators and governors are saying. But the press says, oh, well, no, Trump, oh, it's funny. It's a funny little curiosity. Oh, yeah, the fascist is trying to end democracy. Right now, as we speak, they won't even say that. Oh, it's so funny, it's so funny. Oh, the Republicans haven't acknowledged it yet. It's not funny, it's not a little curiosity. If he had any ability to do it, he would do it like that. Oh, it's actually a minor miracle that in a country of 330 million people, they can't find any fraud, right? Let alone enough to overturn states like Pennsylvania, where Biden has a nearly 50,000 vote lead. All of this is preposterous. Every one of those Republican senators is a liar and hates this country and would overturn our democracy in a second. They're tyrants and they should be called as such, but the press doesn't have the courage to do that, and the Democratic Party never ever makes their own case. And then they wonder why they lose to Republicans. This was your moment to tell the whole country and prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Republican Party is un-American, that they prefer power to democracy. They're sick. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.